up, guys? My name is Augustine from Default, also known as Beautiful Opinions on Instagram, and I'm back with another video. The one video that you guys probably were waiting for. I know I took a long time for this. Actually, by the time this is published, it's probably going to be just a few hours before the knockout stages. But I'm finally predicting the Euros round of 16. I've been busy with personal life stuff and streams and this one video right here that you guys should definitely watch. But it's finally here, better late than ever. And just before we get right into it, I just want to say that you guys should subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I actually have some videos coming up in the future. Actually, the next video that we got coming up is the Copa America predictions, and it's not just going to be the round of 16 like this video. It's going to be the whole tournament. And after that, I'm actually going to start my new video game series. I don't want to spoil what that's going to be, but just subscribe and you'll find out soon enough. But anyways, without any more distractions, we're going to get right into predicting the 8 matches that we got for the Euros, starting with Wales and Denmark. The first game is actually very 50-50. We're not going to be surprised if Denmark wins, if Wales wins. Anything could happen, really. It's a 50-50 match. The last 10 matches that these two sides faced each other, Denmark won 6, Wales won 4, and the last time these two faced each other, Denmark actually won 2-1 in the Nations League in 2018. So as you can see by the record, and if you look at the team on paper and on the pitch, they're pretty equal on level. It's gonna be a good match. Now, both of these sides did decent, not anything amazing in their groups, but I'm gonna go for what my heart tells me, and I'm gonna go for Denmark. I think Denmark kind of became the people's team because of the whole tragedy that happened with Eriksen. And if I'm gonna be put to decide between one of these two sides to win, I want Denmark to win for Eriksen. Thankfully, he's okay. But hopefully the whole thing that happened with them is going to push this team to do well now that they're in the knockout stages. And I mean, it's already a 50-50 game. I could go for either of. I'm going to go for Denmark because that's what my heart tells me. We'll see what happens. Moving on to a game that is the complete opposite of 50-50. You got Italy versus Austria. Let me talk about Italy real quick. They're the team that I'm supporting in this tournament, even though I'm Argentinian and I have nothing to do with Europe. I just like Italy because I'm a Juventus fan, so I might as well just support them. I mean, I'm not a fan of them, I just support them. Does that make sense? But anyways, when I was making the notes for this video, when I was making my whole analysis, I was reading how many games this Italy side has been unbeaten for, and I saw 13. And I thought to myself, wow, 13, pretty decent number. These Italians are doing well. And then I reread what I just read, and turns out I misread it. Jesus, that's confusing. It's not 13, it's 30 matches that this side has been unbeaten. Mancini has definitely brought the best team out of this Italian squad. And you're not gonna believe me when I tell you this, but Italy are the first team in the whole history of the Euros to advance from the group stage, winning all 3 of their games and not conceding a single goal. Literally, the first team in the whole history of the Euros. Now, this team went from kind of being the underdog / dark horses before the competition to now being, you know, recognized, and a lot of people think that they're gonna make the final and maybe even win the whole thing. A couple of Italian players have actually come out and said that because they missed the 2018 World Cup, that has kind of been pushing them to perform better. This squad is definitely motivated. They got experience on the pitch. They got a lot of young players that are hungry for success. You got players that are in the middle of their careers and they just want to prove themselves. This team is definitely a good side. They can go all the way. I'm still rooting for them, and if you look at Austria on the other side, I mean, I don't know what to say. This is their first time ever in the Euro knockout game, and the last time they were ever in a knockout game in a major competition was the World Cup of 1954. So, congrats Austria on making it this far. I don't mean to disrespect you, but I gotta give my boys in Italy the win and the pass to the quarterfinals. Moving on to the next game. The next game is Netherlands versus Czech, and I'm not going to spend that much time talking because I don't want the video to get too long, and also I don't have a lot to say about this one. Netherlands is definitely the better squad on paper, on the pitch. They won their last 3 games on the groups. Yes, they played at home, I think in all 3 of them. And then Czech Republic failed to surprise whenever they faced Croatia and England, just beating a poor Scotland 2-0, a Scotland that just turned up against England just to mess them up a bit. But yeah, without wasting your time, without wasting my time, I'm going to give Netherlands the pass to the quarterfinals. And I did that one so quick because I want to talk about this one right here. Belgium versus Portugal. Jesus Christ, what game have we got ahead of us? This game is going to end up 3-2, 4-2, a high scoring game. Let me tell you why. In one side, you got Portugal, who have the top scorer of the tournament, Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know if you heard of him. Pretty big deal. And if he scores one more goal for Portugal, he actually becomes the player with the most international goals in the history of the sport. So you just know this guy's motivated to break that individual record. And then on the other side, let's talk about Belgium. Let's talk about why they're going to score a lot of goals. They got Lukaku, who is doing wonders this tournament, who had a great season with Inter. And in the last 58 matches, do you know how many games they actually scored at least 1 goal? Out of 58 matches, 56. That means they didn't score a goal only in 2 occasions. But let me tell you something a little bit more surprising. Do you know how many goals they average per match as of the last 147 matches? 3 goals per match. Literally. Now, yes, they face some very crappy European sides where they've actually won 8-0, 9-0, so they've gotten their chance to stat pad. But 3 goals per match is actually pretty impressive. So adding these 2 factors together, it's gonna come down to a 3-2, 4-2, unless I just jinxed it and it's just gonna be a 0-0 and Belgium win in penalties or something. Now, who do I think is gonna win? I'm gonna go for the one that played better as a unit, as I usually do. Portugal have been shaky in the group stage, and yes, they had a tougher group, but they just haven't really turned up as they were expected to. I mean, a big test for them was Germany, who are pretty much on the same level as they are, kinda. And Germany still battered them. Even versus Hungary, they didn't even look like they were gonna win. They weren't playing a good game up until minute 87, where they just like scored 3 goals out of nowhere. I don't know where that even came from or where that was in the whole match. But yeah, this Portugal side is not looking convincing. Their fullbacks are not doing their jobs. Diaz is kind of getting exposed. Bruno Fernandes is not being Bruno Fernandes. I don't know. I just think Belgium are a better unit, a better team. They perform better. Portugal are kind of just not there yet. Or they just haven't been in this tournament, at least. Now, whenever you got Cristiano Ronaldo on your team, anything can happen. He can decide the match by himself. But at the end of the day, I gotta pick one. I'm gonna go for the more logical reason. I'm gonna go for Belgium. I'm sorry, Portugal, for knocking you out so early, but Belgium advanced to the quarterfinals. Let's move on to Croatia versus Spain. I'm just gonna use this as an opportunity to make fun of Spain and kind of like trash them a little bit. I don't like them. Why? Because every time that I watch Spain, I take my sweet time of my beautiful day to sit down in front of the TV and watch Spain. I get bored out of my mind. I get sleepy. I feel like I wasted 90 minutes of my life. This side is so unconvincing, so boring, so uninspired, and their forwards are not going to get anything done. They showed up against Slovakia, out of all teams, in a 5-0 match. Yes, I got to give them that. But other than that, their 0-0 draw against Sweden and their 1-1 Poland draw, I don't recommend anyone watching those games. Not even my worst enemy. This Spain team is still trying to have those fundamentals of that 2008 to 2012 Spain. That tiki-taka possession style. The thing is, they had Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets. They had great forwards back in the day. You're not going to tell me that Morata is going to bang a brace and decide the knockout by himself. Now, I don't like to make fun of strikers who are going through a bad moment because 1, I'm a striker myself, and 2, I go through a lot of bad moments, more than anyone. But I feel like I've earned the right because Morata is my team's player. So I feel like I can make fun of him, right? Right? Anyways, on the other side, you got Croatia, who are a little bit more convincing, and they got Modric on their team, and that guy is unbelievable. He's still pulling masterclasses at his age, and you gotta give him a little bit of respect. I mean, they're the runner-ups of the World Cup at the end of the day, so I'm giving the win to Croatia. Moving on, France versus Switzerland. This is kind of a Italy-Austria situation where I would love to say the Switzerland are actually gonna come victorious, be the underdog to beat the big team. But I'm a logical thinker, and let's talk about France. They're a little bit underwhelming, let's be honest. With an attack of Griezmann, Mbappe, and Benzema, with Giroud as backup, you're bound to score 3-4 goals per match and just have fun in the attack. Not to mention, their whole team is stacked. They could literally play their B team and still have a good competitive side and go all the way. But they've just been very underwhelming. They were supposed to be the favorites of the whole competition. I mean, this team just won the World Cup a couple years ago. But when you look at the performances that they've had so far, it's just kind of underwhelming, and they just haven't gotten there yet. Perhaps a win in the round of 16 will kind of give them room to improve and perform better as a unit, kind of get a little bit more chemistry in the works, and then perform as they are expected in quarterfinals and forward. So maybe they'll get better. Maybe this is the game that will get them there. On the other side, we got Switzerland, but I don't really have anything to say. I mean, it's Shaqiri is there. Again, I would love to say that the underdog is going to win, and I would love to be right and surprise everybody, but I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to save myself from embarrassment. I'm just going to say that France are going to win. Let's move on to a match that actually matters. What we got next? Sweden, Ukraine. The one match that I actually consider skipping. Look, I want to talk about the match that's next coming after this one, so I'm just going to give Sweden the win. I don't have a lot to say. I haven't watched neither of these teams that much other than Spain versus Sweden. I don't know these teams particularly. Why is that word so hard to say? I'm gonna be honest, I just want to talk about England versus Germany. Sweden gets the win. Let's move on. England versus Germany, what a match. Other than Belgium, Portugal, this might just be the best game in the round of 16. Even though both teams have been kind of unconvincing, this is bound to be such a great game. On the one side, you have England, who despite finishing first and winning 2 of their games and then just drawing against Scotland, they just haven't convinced at all. They don't play good football. They kind of remind me of Argentina in terms of they have all these great forwards and they just can't really make them work together. I haven't seen much of Harry Kane in this whole competition. Sterling, Foden, Grealish, they just don't perform well as a unit. Like I said, it reminds me of Argentina, who throughout the years, they've had Dybala, Tevez, Higuain, Aguero, Icardi, Lautaro Martinez, Di Maria, and they've just been shaky for the national team. They play nowhere near in the level that they do in the clubs. Same thing with England. All of these forwards and midfielders are performing for the clubs respectively, and they're some of the greatest players in their leagues. And then together, they're not that exciting to watch. Now, maybe this is because of Southgate, who is kind of having some shaky decisions, who's not starting people that he should start. For the love of God, play Sancho. I have more minutes in the bedroom with my girlfriend than Sancho does on the pitch, and I'm one of those guys who don't even last that long. I will give him props, and I'm gonna praise their defense. The one side of their team that actually looks pretty convincing. They haven't conceded yet in the tournament, but if one team is gonna break their defense, it's gonna be Germany. Now, yes, Germany haven't been that convincing either. Jesus, that's kind of like a thing in this Euros. A lot of great teams not being convincing. Everybody's pretty much underperforming. But anyways, Germany have the squad. They have the teams individually. I mean, you just know that if anybody's going to bring down that England defense, it's going to be players like Havertz, Müller, Gnabry, Gosens, who's actually the best left back in the Euro so far, and who I actually love and have been wanting him at Juventus for a long time. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that yes, this game is bound to be a really good game. And honestly, I see any of these teams making it to the next round. It could be either. But I'm going to go for Germany. Despite England playing in Wembley in their country, I still see Germany as the better team as a whole. When you look at it on paper, you can give me the argument of them being pretty equal in terms of level. But as a unit, Germany perform better together. And like I said, England have great players, but they don't have a great team. I'm sorry for my English followers. You can go ahead and dislike the video right now, but I'm kicking England out very early on in the round of 16. It's not coming home, at least not this year. Maybe in 2022, I don't know. And that sums up all the 8 games of the Euros round of 16. I'm sorry if I kicked out any of your teams. I'm bound to be wrong about some of these. I'm probably going to be wrong in many of these. But that's what's exciting about this game. Anything can happen. Let's just enjoy the tournament for what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it this far, thank you all for watching. And I'm going to see you guys in the next time. Remember, the next video, I have the Copa America prediction for the whole tournament, not just the round of 16 or quarterfinals or whatever they do. So I'll just see you in a couple of days. Remember to subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to break to that 3K. I think we're only 100 subscribers away from 3K, which is insane. And I just want to take this little opportunity to thank you all for the support that I get on YouTube and on Instagram every single day. As always, thank you all for watching the video. I will see you guys next time. Take care and cheers.